going on? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh man, I'm so excited to be here. Let's go. Ibrahim Lucas says, I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's see what you have for us today. I love it. Equip Institute is here, just greeting folks in the chat, doing her normal moderator thing. Yes, I have missed you as well. I've been MIA this week. Actually, call time for the project that I've been producing has been like 5:45 and that kind of thing every morning. So yes, Monday, Tuesday, we skipped today. Thursday and Friday, we're also going to be doing some work in that vein. So it is a lot. It is a lot, but I've missed you guys for the M3 Live Tribe, the Morning Motivation crew, 6 o'clock every morning in the Central Time Zone, the Lord's Time Zone. Wanted to make sure you guys are able to come and hang out with us. JJS Tech says, I'm tuning in. Thank you so much. This is my guest. We're going to bring him on screen in just a second. He says, let's go. He was in the comment section last week. Now he's with us. I'm excited about that. And listen, if you didn't get a chance to check out last week with my guy, Walt Jeanette, you need to do that. You need to do that because that was a whole lot of fun. Excited to dive in here, man. We don't have a coaching client this week. We do not have a coaching client this week. It's going to be very similar to last week where I had Walt Jeanette on and we were both able to kind of field some questions, answer some things for you guys. And I hope that was beneficial. In fact, I know several of you have shared that was beneficial. We want more of it. And I'm excited for that as well. Please start. Yes. That is exactly what I was getting ready to say. Please start your question with a Q. Now, I'm going to say this right at the beginning because, not everybody does it. And then they end up saying, man, I really wanted to get my questions answered, but don't wait. Don't wait. This is a very limited show, 1 hour. And I do have a guest and we are both willing to answer your questions, but we are also very capable of just talking for the full hour. So ask your questions. It could be content related. It could be platform specific. It could be how to. It could be StreamYard, Ecamm, Restream, LNApp, BeLive. It doesn't matter. EVMux. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to ask about, don't wait is what I'm saying. Ask now. Don't wait, ask now. And with that said, I want to bring on my guy, Chris Stone. What's going on, brother? Oh, he's got it up on the screen.
Episode 8 is going to be a problem, ladies and gentlemen.
Dope.
It's, funny you said, you were like, we're capable of talking the entire time. And that is so true, man. And I love every time that we can share a space like this together.
Yes.
I have to pause and I have to serve serve this community because I would be here anyway, soaking up the coaching wisdom from the gentleman on the left side of your screen over here. I'd be here anyway, so I might as well just hang out and pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
No.
Kirk, man,
there's no pretending. I
appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything that you've done as a part of my journey so far and what you continue to do to inspire others, man. It's just, man, what you do, I don't know how you do it. And maybe that's my question. I'm going to put a Q before it here in the chat so Equip Institute can pop it up on the screen. I honestly, because you and I are friends and we have conversations fairly often. And you have a team of people, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, man, I'm wondering how many hours of sleep you might get. I'm concerned for your marriage. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not concerned for your marriage. I'm definitely not concerned for that. But man, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you are a testament to consistency. Like you have to be consistent and do this thing to get to a level. So if you aspire to be someone, it doesn't have to be Kirk, doesn't have to be Chris. It could be, it could be Pat Flynn. It could be Oprah Winfrey. It doesn't matter, right? If you aspire to be that person, you don't go to the gym and come back shredded. You gotta put this stuff in.
Put the stuff in
to get to this level. And so you got to get off the couch, right?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
You heard a couch to 5K. I think I'm going to start a couch to podcast. Let's do it.
Ooh, come on.
I don't know. I just kind of thought of that.
This is why we have people like Chris on the show. Let me say this. Chris has asked a really good question. And I see Roy is in the chat. He's asked a really good question as well. Let me see if do I have this right? I have this right. Let me go to my next scene. And look on this. This is my watch page on the How It All Works website, howitallworks.com watch page. And right here in the middle, look who this is. Look at this. Look at this. How a
good-looking man right there
uses live video. Chris Stone, everybody, come on. Where's my trigger? Chris Stone, that's a doorbell. That's not the one. Where's my?
Where's my applause? I need my Rodecaster stock applause. Here we go.
There we go. Chris Stone, everybody. Chris Stone. I just want you guys to know that he is here. I'm putting it the wrong way. He is on the page. And of course, this is today's episode. This is right now. This is live. This is happening right now. This is live right now. And I always want to make sure we always share with folks who are coming through to the Coaching Corner. There are a ton of resources on howitallworks.com. You can join the mailing list. My latest YouTube video that dropped this past Sunday, podcast creation process with Riverside and Captivate. You know who put me on to Captivate?
That would be this man.
That would be that guy right there.
I appreciate your affiliate income, my friend.
I was getting ready to say, I used his affiliate link to get on Captivate because I was using Kajabi. I'll be honest. I was using Kajabi and it just does not do it doesn't do the things that I needed to do in terms of pushing it to all the different places. Doesn't have the one-click setup. It didn't give me the show notes. It didn't give me all of those pieces. So I said, okay, Kajabi, I love you, but for my podcast, I'm going to be shifting to a platform that is specific to doing the podcast. Now, let me say this for those who are like, what? I thought you said Kajabi was the bee's knees. It is. I still believe it is. But there are some things, especially for those who are doing more than a video podcast, right? You're doing an audio podcast, a traditional podcast with RSS that is sending to the different places for distribution. That's the piece that I think Kajabi is going to need to work on. And I'm going to tell you this, don't count Kajabi out. Never count them out, because they always somehow build into their stuff some of the best practices that you see on the planet. Listen,
Kirk, I could about Captivate. Let me just, if I could just dovetail a little bit on that. There's a beautiful part about Captivate, and that is, if you're just starting a podcast, it's there for you, and you could just use the corner of the cupboard, right? You could just use what you need to get going. But as you grow, as your audio podcast grows, man, there's so much under that hood, and they do a really great job of saying, okay, now you're ready for advertising. Here's our advertising platform. Super easy to integrate. Like here, you've got a sponsor. You can just change up the MP3. You can do it for certain episodes. You can do it for all your episodes. So you can grow to that point. It grows with you. If you want to do multiple podcasts and just pay one fee on Captivate, you can do it. So these other platforms, you pay $20 a month. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, if you do an audio podcast, here I go. I'm sorry, I had to jump up and start talking, Kirk.
Come on.
You want to pay for a podcast host, ladies and gentlemen. Free podcast hosts there is a reason why it's free, because they are using you for their advertising. They are putting advertising on your podcast for partners that you may not necessarily be ready to have and be associated with your show. And you want to be a customer of someone like Libsyn, someone like Captivate, someone like Blueberry, so I would encourage you to find the right podcast host for your audio podcast. Captivate is one of my favorites. But if you want to do multiple podcasts, so you want to do one that's talking about cooking, you want to do another one that's serving a different audience, you could do that and not pay $20 a month for each one that you do, like these other platforms do. Captivate just says, you could do all that. You could do as many podcasts as you want on the platform and only pay one fee for it. So I love it.
This guy is already in his bag. He's already in his bag doing his thing. And
when James is here, I didn't iron my t-shirt. I gotta hang in here.
Listen, he brings out the greats. James Higgs, I need to have you on one of the coaching corners to kind of chat it up with the audience and share your special, unique brand of value with them as well. I'm going to be hitting you up, so look out for a message from me, James. I need to know which Wednesday you're available. But no, what he's sharing is absolutely valid. Podcast, and I'm admittedly learning in the podcast space, where on the video side, that's kind of my bag, especially live. But on the podcast space, I'm learning and I'm growing. People like Chris, Cast Ahead, and some of the stuff that they do, phenomenal work. And I'm looking to double down with that. I hope that we can do some work together, in fact. But going back here real quick, man. So again, like I said, this page, everything is here. One-stop shop. Latest podcast episode, Why I Go Live podcast. Live video makes you a better communicator. But if you look at the other title right next to it, it says live video makes you a better business owner and communicator. Somebody needs to watch that episode, because Loria Petrucci is not just one of the pioneers of live streaming. She has made this thing a business before it was even cool or chic to make content a business. So definitely you want to be able to check out that one. Of course, the Coaching Corner is live right now. And then we just dropped this morning, defeat versus defeated. I'm not even going to say anything more. I'm just going to leave that to you. Enter at your own risk is all I'll say. But this page is a resource for anybody that wants to get their stuff together. James Hicks, I'm looking to that Couch to Podcast. That's a challenge. That's a 21-day guide. That's an ebook. That's a masterclass. Oh my gosh, Couch to Podcast. Chris Stone.
Usually my analogies, Kirk, are related to music, because I came from the music business.
Yeah.
But I have, and this is not humble brag, but I have run 4 marathons. And so when you do a marathon, okay?
Yeah.
I was a runner, okay? I called myself a runner. I would go out and I'd run 6 miles 3 times a week. And it was more mental, got me centered. And I have a cousin who runs these Ironman triathlons. So you swim, I don't know however many miles, you bike, I don't know however many miles, and then you run a marathon. And he's like, Chris, you're running all this, you're doing all this running, you need to do a race. And I was like, I'm not a race. I mean, I don't want to do a race. I just want to run. And he's like, listen, Chris, all you have to do is just do the training. And then when you're ready, at the end of the training, the race is nothing. And what I learned during the course of the marathon was, here's what I learned during the course of the marathon. He gave me this key piece of advice, and I use it when I talk to my podcast clients.
Yeah.
And that is, when you start, you've done all this training, but you do the training at a certain heart rate. Okay? You want to keep it, and your pace increases, but you keep your heart rate the same.
Heart rate, yes.
And so when you start running, he said, here's what's going to happen. Monitor your heart rate. You're going to be so excited. Your body's going to be ready, and you're going to go. And and you're just like, you got to watch your heart rate. Yeah. Because what's going to happen is at mile 6, at mile 7, people are going to blow right past you. And you're going to see that, and you're going to see that person run by you. You're going to see that person run by you. And you start thinking in your head, is this person fast? Well, that person looks like they're older than me. They don't even look like they're in shape like me. How come they're running past me? He says, stay the course. This is your race. It's not theirs. And he says the best part of the race is when you get to mile 18, you get to mile 21, you're going to see those people that blew by you at mile 6. They're going to be on the side of the road, rubbing their legs, throwing up, being picked up by EMS because they couldn't finish, because they didn't put in the work. They didn't put in the training, and they were just blowing by you. So I'm sorry. I had to,
we're back at morning motivation.
Hicks got me all too excited. Sorry.
We're back at morning motivation right now. We're back at morning motivation. That's where we are. I thought this was a coaching corner. Chris said, no, we're back at morning motivation. They couldn't finish the race.
No.
Oh my goodness.
Those were the same people that blew by me and and I've done 4 of them. It's the same story every single time. These people, they look like pro athletes compared to this, this dude. And I just stayed the course. I just stayed there, and they couldn't finish it because they just thought that they could just run through it. And I think when you're putting together a podcast or a live show or writing a book or doing whatever, you think you can skip through all of this stuff, and you think that you don't have to do the training that's necessary and the work that's necessary to be successful. And I think that's something that I learned through that whole thing, and how I apply it to some, listen, stop looking at your numbers every single day.
Wow.
Stop looking at your numbers every single day. You can learn things from your numbers, what's working, what's not. But man, you gotta, you can't let those things keep you from finishing.
Listen, you guys, this is a microcosm of life. This is not just good for racing. This is not just good for content. This is not just good for podcasts. This is a microcosm of life. Yeah. When you said that the coach, I guess it's your coach, but when you said the guy said, no, you don't have to worry about the race, just do the training. Oh my gosh.
That's when it clicked for me. He's like, because you can download a plan, a marathon plan from anywhere. You can go to Nike right now. You can download a marathon plan. How many weeks you got to do your race? Oh, you've got 5 months before your race. Here's your plan. Just do 2 miles here, do this, do that, and you get the plan together. And then by the time you're ready to race, you are actually ready to race. Ready to. And I use the word race, but it's not really a race, because it's really just it's your own race. It's your own journey.
It's the natural culmination of your training.
Yes.
You're oh my gosh. I am so, this is so good. This is so good.
I didn't even know we were going here, but I just at the couch to
No, I've got another comment for you in just a second. Equip Institute says, I've got so much out of this already. Building your business, growing your audience, and more. Run your race. Finish your race. I received that. So, Seesaw Studios, I haven't seen you in a minute, brother. You have been MIA. Thank you so much for being with us today. But this is the comment for Chris. I want you to see this. I want you to drink this in, because I want you to know that couch to podcast thing is a whole. It's a need. So XDMC says, I love that. I always wanted to start my own podcast, but I'm so swamped with work and clients, I find it hard to carve out time. Chris Stone, you are listen, couch to podcast is a necessity. And I think Cast Ahead needs to go ahead and do that. Join. Oh, where's my horn? Where's my horn?
Walt.
The man himself is back.
That show was awesome last week, man. Use what you bought. Use what you bought. Walt.
Oh my goodness. Walt, thank you so much for coming through. He said, I forgot you were live, so I'm streaming you right now on my channel. We spreading love Brooklyn way. Come on, Walt, Jeanette. Thank you so much for coming through. Okay. Listen, I'm going to do this because I feel like we'll completely derail. I told you guys if we wanted to, we could just talk. But there are a couple of people who have put a Q in front of their comments. So I want to grab Roy's first. And this is basically the same question that Chris asked of me at the beginning. So Tech Troublemaker, Roy, Chris Stone, Cast Ahead, thank you guys for this opportunity to share. How do you manage your time while juggling so many things? That it's definitely calendar based. That's the cheat code for everything that I do, is that it's on the calendar. It's on the calendar. Let me give you an example. Can I give you an example? Today's Valentine's Day. I'm not at the production studio today. There was no 5:45 call today, crew call today. I wasn't setting up any lights at 6 o'clock this morning on location. I didn't even do morning motivation. There are flowers in a vase downstairs for my wife. I have one single rose and a little bear and some chocolate that I'm going to take to my daughter's school right after we finish this live.
Oh man, it's awesome.
It's the calendar. It's the calendar. The calendar is king for me. Now, I say that, and then people are always like, yeah, okay, cool, calendar. It's the calendar, yes, but it's the fact that I actually use my calendar. Like the fact that it's Valentine's Day. like, I know my wife is watching, and she doesn't even know that when I took the kids to school this morning, I also washed her car. The whole thing, inside and out. That was on the calendar. I want you to know that I don't leave it up to chance. I don't try to just have a cool idea on the day of. It's on the calendar.
Yeah.
So a lady hit me up yesterday. She sent me a text. She's like, hey, I have a really quick question. Can you call me at your earliest convenience? I told her there's no such thing as an earliest convenience for Kirk. It's the calendar. So I sent her a link to grab 15 minutes on my calendar. And she said, man, your next earliest appointment is Friday. I was like, that's correct. Because it's the calendar. I hope that this is making sense. I hope that this is resonating, because here's the piece that most people don't know. Last night at 7 p.m., if I show it to you, I don't want to, but if I share my screen right now, last night at 7 p.m., you know what was on the calendar? Game night. No phones, no devices. And so we played phase 10, and my kids beat the pants off of me. I don't know. I couldn't make it out of phase 2. Chris, I don't know what's going on. Usually I'm good at this stuff, but I couldn't make it out of phase 2.
Well, I know he's not lying, ladies and gentlemen, because he wouldn't text me back right around that time. So I was like, damn, what did I do wrong? I mean,
this is this is how I.
Yeah.
It's most people, they do very well with putting their business things on the calendar. I think the cheat code is that I don't just put business things on the calendar. I put refill time on the calendar.
Yeah.
I put, okay, I need time to think this week. I need time to come up with more concepts for morning motivation. I need to spend some time getting more guests in for Why I Go Live. I put those things on the calendar. As an entrepreneur, Chris can back me up on this. You have ebbs and flows. You have seasons of feast and famine. I try to plan across the slow points and stack it with ideation, stack it with new experiences. I've always wanted to go and see what so-and-so is doing on their show. Let me go and see what Chris is doing. Chris's show is on this day at this time. Let me put that on the calendar this week. It's a little lighter this week. Let me go and check. I can't check out his show every week.
Right.
But I'm going to jump on there. This past Friday, I got a chance to jump on Luria's show. I was in the comments chatting it up. She shouted me out. She's like, oh, Kirk's in the comments. Thank you so much for coming through and hanging out. I don't get to do that every Friday, but I had it on the calendar this week because I wanted to see what she's doing. And I'm glad I did, because she talked about Facebook kind of, doing this whole thing with groups. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I was here. But I want y'all to know that it's the calendar. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but I do want you to kind of see that I'm not relenting from this. It's the calendar. The calendar gives me a lot of latitude and freedom. Latitude and freedom.
Freedom for the important things, right? And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs are so thirsty to get that client in as quickly as possible. Oh, if I don't respond to this, what you consider quote unquote urgent, today, and not my next available calendar spot on Friday, I might lose the business. I might not be able to do this, that, and the other. Is that what you're chasing? Right.
Exactly.
And so we can't, it's because what's going to happen is there's two things that are going to happen. You're pushing everything that's most important aside, and it's not going to get better for you, right? It's just going to compound. Okay. What you have to do is what Kirk is doing, which is set the precedent. Set the precedent. This is what I'm doing with my family. It's game night. It's happening here. Nothing else matters.
Right.
Nothing else matters. And so if someone's trying to get a hold of me and they can't get a hold of me, okay. It's not the end of the world, and you got to do what's most important to you. It's totally, it's important. And time blocking is huge. And I love the fact that I do the same thing, Kirk, is I set aside, there's mornings for me is when I have to get physical. I have to get outside. I have to get the sun on my face. I have to do that. So there's a time block every day on my calendar for that time. Now, if somebody's going to call me and book an appointment, it's going to get me paid. And, that's maybe a one-time thing. But I'm not doing shows at 6 a.m., right? And and there's other things that, you just got a time block. All of a sudden you just don't get the stuff that shows up on your calendar, and you're wasting your time. And the other thing it prevents, Kirk, and I don't know if you could speak to this, it's that idle time, right? If you're scrolling and you just start going here and just going here, and all of a sudden you sit around for 45 minutes, hour and a half, and you're like, you know what I could have been doing? I could have been doing the podcast that I was supposed to be, or I could have been mapping out how I could frame, what I want to speak about on this particular thing. And you just got to be intentional with it.
I'm going to touch on that. I just want to double click real quick, and we have some really cool comments coming up. Fulgence Henry, what's good, sir? Thank you so much for coming through. Always, I love to see that the community come together. Fulgence has a really dope show on Mondays on the Ecamm channel. I mean, it sets the standard in my opinion. One of very creative, and then they have the building blocks thing as well. Got to get Fulgence on one of these weeks as well. But I want to say this, man. I don't have social media notifications turned on my phone, except for YouTube. I don't have notifications turned on my phone. I'll go in the app and I'll see the notifications. Now, I want to say this, the app still has the notifications, but they will not come through on my phone. They won't come through on my watch. They won't, I don't get those notifications. I have times where I'm free to go into Facebook and Instagram. Literally at the beginning of this year is when I just turned the notifications on for LinkedIn, because I'm trying to do some things with LinkedIn. But I'm going to tweak that, because LinkedIn has been sending me some nonsense notifications of late. But and it's a whole conversation for another time. But I want, this is why I always say to people, if you want to get at me, drop a comment on my YouTube videos, because this is literally the only thing that dings on my phone. That's the only thing. People sending me DMs on all kinds of other platforms, and I see them like 2 weeks later, like, sorry guys. So that right there is also another cheat code, because the idle time, I am not gonna lie to you. Idle time is not a luxury that I have. I plan out my month. I want somebody to hear that. I don't just plan out my day. I plan out my month, and I review. I was on Iron Sharpens Iron with Florence, which is Equip Institute, and I was just saying, we don't as a society, we do not do enough review. The reason why the calendar is the way that it is because we have not reviewed. Okay, dang, that was on the calendar for yesterday. I totally missed that. What do I need to do to get in a better habit of following my calendar? The challenge is not for a lot of us to put it on the calendar. The challenge is that when the notification comes up, that you actually pivot from whatever it is you're doing to doing that your calendar says it's time to do. And I think that one skill, if you learn your hack, know yourself to the point where you say, okay, what's going to get me to see the thing buzz on the watch and be like, hey guys, I have to go. I've got something else. What's going to get me to do that? That is going to be of highest benefit. Now I've got to figure out a way to get all of these comments in, because this is so good. Darius O'Kane says, great perspective. TickTick is a good calendar subscription, but you can invite many others to specific calendars groups for collaboration. I use TickTick as well. That is one. I don't say that much, but that's my note-taking app, but it's integrated with, has a whole calendar and to-do list, and you can check off things. I'm a check off kind of guy. I like to be able to check things off. That's you got to know yourself is what I'm trying to say. So love that. Jason Brown is on the live. Thank you so much for coming through and hanging out with us. Jason. Somebody's chilling over on Facebook. Love it. Being intentional. Equip Institute, it's impossible to pay attention to all the social platforms and that's right. And be reactive and productive at the same time. That is a truth, and they know it, and they're planning on the fact that you're not going to do anything about it. Now, here's is this the right one? I think that's no. That was the last question. Let me go in the right order. Yeah, I think this is the right order. That's not the right order. No, I think it's this one. Sorry, I was right. So Florence says, what is your timeline promoting a show? How far out before going live day do you start promoting? Chris, you want to touch on this one?
Just like a lot of things, the answer is it depends. And so, usually the first place I go when it comes to all of this is who you're serving. Start with who you're serving, who your audience is, who what your message that you're trying to deliver, the solutions you're providing to your audience, the strategies that you're implementing, the things that you're doing, and then you go, okay, this person is this type of person, and like Kirk just went through his whole thing as far as notifications and as far as and he's not. I mean, he's not dissimilar to a lot of content creators. They can't be inundated with all of the things, especially if you have you're on multiple platforms and you can't have notifications. So if someone is notoriously busy and you're sending them a reminder a week out for a live show, I think that's a little difficult to do if it's that type of person. So you have to have in mind, like, if my ideal viewer, if my ideal listener is a particular person that drives to work and has like a 15-minute commute to their job every day and they listen to podcasts, or maybe they're driving home, or maybe they're listening to it while they're cleaning the house, or imagine who that person is and how they consume your content. Then you start to think about how you promote it to that person and how often you promote it to that person, what vehicle you're using to promote it to that person. And I think that's when things start to uncover. I've got one client, and we do a show every Monday morning at 8:00 in the morning because he feels like he's equipping sales reps to hit it right as they go out for the week. They've got 5 days to sell. And so that's when he goes live, but we don't drop the podcast at any point throughout the week, right? It's over the weekend. And the reason why you do it over the weekend is because they're equipping themselves, if they want to listen, to hit the ground running for the, so that's just one example. I think it really just depends on, first and foremost, who you're speaking to, and how you would promote it. I think for the most part, and Kirk, you may agree or disagree on this, I think there's so many people that are doing shows, and you just can't catch them all, right? And so you just do your best to promote it, and then they may or may not catch it. They may catch it on replay. My thinking, and you know this, Kirk, I'm a huge fan of live, but I'm also a huge fan of pointing back to shows for years and years. And if you create evergreen content, it doesn't matter how much you pre-promote Equip Institute. It's how much you utilize the content that you think is sitting on the shelf. It's good forever, even after we're gone from this earth.
Oh, that's good. Chris Stone, listen, where's my bomb? Yeah, well, you got to drop a bomb now, because that right there, wow.
It's not just about now. This show, you don't think that I'm going to be taking all this stuff and I'm going to be utilizing this for years?
And why not? But the only thing I'll add is it's not even different. It's the same. You said it depends on your target. I would add that it also depends on the type of content you're creating. Is it discoverable content? Is it community-based content? You know what I'm saying? So, because if it's community-based content, you don't really need to do a whole lot of advertising. Your community is going to show up. Like the Coaching Corner with Kirk, I do 0 advertising, because this is community content. I want my community to know this is the place you can come and get your questions answered. I drop a how-to video every Sunday. Invariably, people have questions that I just cannot answer in typing in the comments on YouTube. So I grab those questions, and I have one today. I grab those questions and I bring them to the Coaching Corner to answer those questions. In fact, I said to the guy who asked this particular question, hey, come on Wednesday, I'm going to show you exactly how I build that scene in StreamYard, because I've never actually done that in a video. And you know what else I do sometimes? I take your questions from, oh gosh, this is the Chico. I take your questions from the Coaching Corner and I make those into videos.
Yes.
Individual questions. They are videos. So
that's so good, because the people here, Equip Institute, Walt, James, all these people that are like, they have the guts, right?
There it is.
But there are hundreds, thousands of people that aren't watching, that don't know who you are yet, or that are watching that don't have the guts, and they have the same questions.
Yes, they do. And you know, oh gosh, that's so good. They have the same questions, and they want to know, they want to be in spaces where the right questions are being asked. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna stop talking now. I have to let me move on. Ibrahim Lucas says, are you going to make a video about Riverside FM? And the answer is yes. I have an actual series that we'll be doing on Riverside FM, how-to videos, the whole nine. And I'll be talking about pros and cons as well. And I will also compare it to some of the other platforms that are available as well. So there's a whole series coming for Riverside. So thank you for that question, because I just dropped a video this past Sunday talking about my process. And I said in that video, let me know if you'd be interested in the series. So Ibrahim, I'm putting you in that column of being interested, and I'm excited about that because, again,
they just did an integration with Spotify. Riverside did.
They did.
Yeah. So I think you get a free 2 hours if your podcast is on Spotify for podcasters. Again, right. I'm as far as podcast hosts go, I prefer ones that you pay for. You're a paying customer,
Totally
so
agree.
Buyer beware,
Totally
or in this case, freebie beware.
Yeah,
but it's a good way to try it.
Absolutely. And I'm, like I said, my plan is to touch on a number of things in that series, but I'm thanking you, Ibrahim, for the question, because I think it's great. XDMC says, how do you really know? I read this earlier and I just had to pause because I was like, there's a lot here. So you've answered your question already. Let me read it. How do you really know you have something to say that people want to hear? That's the question. And here's the answer. When I'm on live speaking, everyone asks me for my podcast. You've already, do you see it? You've answered the question. How do I know I have something people want to hear? But when I'm guesting on others' platforms, people ask me for my podcast. They're asking you for your podcast. They want to know. So now your real question is this one. How do you find your audience? And that is a significant question. I'm going to be honest with you. I could probably take a stab at that thing, but I have coaching clients who are going on 2 years and we're still refining on how to identify and pinpoint who that audience is. I have been doing this for 4 years and I'm still refining it. I'm not saying I don't know who my audience is. I'm saying I'm refining it. It is the work of a lifetime to refine who your perfect person is, who your avatar is, who your audience is. And it's gonna deal with what's your value proposition and what are your lived experiences. If I was to answer it in one sentence, I would say to you, your audience is in the mirror looking back at you. But do you know who that is? And many people don't. And so because they don't, right? They don't know how to package what's in their own story in a way that people can get at. Your story gives you credibility with people who have similar things to you. So yeah, I'm a believer. I'm from the Caribbean, lived overseas for a while. I've got 2 kids. You see what I'm saying? I'm just basically writing out my own profile. And because all of those things are true of me, I'm a media pastor, I am a remote producer, I'm a former IT executive. Yeah. Because those things are true of me, somebody's gonna say, oh, that's me too. And that gives me credibility with that person. Mm-hmm. But we don't take the time to basically look at who we are. Who am I? Who is XDMC? Yeah. And you can speak. Oh my gosh, I was talking to a guy, he's monotone, Chris. This guy's monotone, He's a geek's geek. But your boy is fire with his content. Why is that? Because the geeks love him. They love him. And literally on one of his videos, the people were commenting like, I didn't even know people like us could create content. They love him. He doesn't have any inflections. He doesn't get excited. He speaks it doesn't matter though. Why? Because his people love him, because his content is specifically for people like him. Yeah. I can't reach his audience.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too, XDMC, this is a huge question. We can go on for hours, but like, it is. What's your purpose? Why are you doing your show? Why are you showing up to be a guest on somebody's show? Or is it just to hang out? Like, are you trying to sell courses or books or be a keynote speaker, be a producer? Like what exactly are you trying to do? Are you trying to amplify something so that you can get seen by more. You're trying to network with more people. There's a million reasons why to do a podcast. Not every one of them is the right way. If you're trying to make money on a podcast, you might want to diversify your income. Okay. Let me just speak, like an honest truth here. If you're starting a podcast to make money, you might want to diversify your income, because that doesn't sound like a why to me. Right. So, and your why is going to help you and propel you to make your content better when the money isn't there and you don't get the feedback. And I always encourage people as well to seek feedback, but don't seek feedback from the people that will just tell you what they think you want to hear. Okay? There's people like Kirk Nugent out here. You got to invest in people, but there's also other people that are going to tell you the truth. They're not going to they're not trying to take shots at you.
No.
And, but they're not trying to just blow smoke at you either. Like, they are here to help you. And then when you ask for that feedback, be ready to receive it.
Ooh.
You have to be ready to receive it, and that's what makes you better. Kirk, the worst thing, I worked for 30 years for Sony, and I had like 16 different bosses. And the worst bosses that I had were actually bosses, right? They weren't mentors. And they would bring me in for an evaluation, and they would say, "Hey, Chris, you're doing, everything's great. 5 stars. Good. Here's your bonus. Go out the door." That's the worst. Like, what am I going to work on? Tell me what I can do to develop myself and make myself better. How can I get better at what I'm doing? Those were the managers, the mentors that I had that say, "Hey, listen, this is all good. And let me tell you, let me throw some shine on here. I keep this up. But here's where I see you have opportunities for growth to do this." And so you have to seek out those people, invest in coaches, invest in people that will say, "Hey, listen, you say too much." By the way, these are things that people told me, right? I say too much. I am all over the place. I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do. Chris, if you're wanting more clients to do production, you have to cater your content so that people know who you are. You want to know what the worst question that you can get when you're on a sales call, when you're trying to develop someone's podcast? When they go, "I don't know what it is that you do."
That's the worst.
That's the worst thing you could have, is for someone to go, "Can you tell me exactly what it is that you do?"
Yeah.
It has to be clear.
I got done with a discovery call, and the lady was like, "When you said discovery call, I thought this was my opportunity to tell you what I want, but I realized that this was your opportunity to show me what you do, and I am blown away." I was like, I don't assume that when somebody clicks the link to come on a discovery call that you want what I have to offer. But what I'm actually doing in the discovery call is making sure that what I do is what you want.
Yes.
Because it might not be.
Yes.
And if it's not, then let's just call it quits now. That's what the discovery call is for. Listen, I want to read this comment from Walter Jeanette. "The audience of one, look within yourself to find the people like you. The truth is, most of us don't like ourselves, so it's hard to connect with people that resemble our insecurities." That's the cheat code of life. That's the cheat code of life right there. And I see that XDMC is saying thank you to Walt. JJS Tech is jumping in there as well. Don't seek validity from the audience. We got to be ourselves, all right? We got to be ourselves, so when the audience changes, we don't. That's good. That's good. Darius O'Kane is just appreciating you, Chris. Great words, Chris. You have to partner with those that will make you better. This is why I'm a big fan of coaching. I tell people all the time, your coach doesn't have a coach, fire that coach. Because it is in the process of coaching that you become even a better coach. I have a coach for everything. And that's why I put this coaching corner here. Some of it is just for you to be able to ask questions, but some of it is for you to be able to see me coach someone. And we have somebody scheduled, and not next week, the following week, who's going to come in and actually be coached. I can tell you this. Rose Cayazzo is one of the people we had on a couple weeks ago. And she has messaged me saying she put out there her challenge, similar to what we talked about last week, Walt. She put out her 21-day challenge, and she has over 90 people signed up already.
Wow. Whew.
One free coaching session right here on the Coaching Corner gave her the impetus to know she had something. And she what did Walt say? Action. We're arrested by action. Walt was giving us a quote.
Get off the couch. I love it.
Hamilton. Claude Hamilton said it best. You're not absent of answers. You're absent of action. Absent of action. Yeah. And to me, that's the thing. Let me grab one or two more questions here. Charlotte Agent is here. This is my dude. He came over from Facebook. This is Jason. He says, what platform do you use to simultaneously post so you don't have to go to each platform individually? There's a ton of those. And again, I generally don't like to use a platform to post when I'm using video. Does that resonate, Chris? I mean, for my social posts, for my, quote me, whatever. If I'm going to put something in the story, I actually purchased this platform called FeedHive when it was on AppSumo, and it's a lifetime thing. So that's what I've been using. I was chilling with a good friend of mine, Justin Koo, who is a phenomenal content creator, and he does a lot of video as well. And I just saw what he was using. I can't remember the name of it right this second. But there are a lot of platforms out there that will do the posting for you. And what I love about them, and maybe I'll share my screen here real quick, Jason. But what I love about them is that they also give you the ability to, in one place, begin to respond to all of the posts. So let me see if I can pull that up. But yeah, what do you use? Chris?
To be honest, it's been a minute since I have posted one thing to multiple places, and here's where I've landed with this. The Charlotte Agent, is that
love it.
These platforms know that people are spraying and praying upon all of them, right? So if you create one video that is 59 seconds or less, and you're posting it on all of the places, there's a reason why one resonates more than the other on a particular platform. It's because they know that you're spraying it from, these agents, whether it's, we can name a bunch of them. I use Agora Pulse. I've used lately, .ai, and repurpose.io is another one. And I subscribe to these things. The only time I use these is when I am doing kind of research, right? So this is a particular type of video. I want to see where it might resonate. But what I've learned, Kirk, is that YouTube wants content that's made for YouTube. It's the same reason why if we were to just take the audio of this show that we did, and you were to post it on YouTube and just put the thumbnail maybe with a squiggly line, that nobody's going to watch it. It's not going to show up in anybody's feed. The algorithm's going to go, this is not made for YouTube. We don't want to serve this to the users. To anybody. For YouTube. There are people there's a reason why the algorithm gets updated every 8 minutes or whatever it is because everyone is looking at this content that they don't want to serve to people. Mercy. And so you want to be able to say, listen, if I'm going to post it on Instagram, it should be for Instagram. It should be something that resonates. And you shouldn't want to post the same thing on multiple platforms. Why? Because why would anyone subscribe to your Instagram, your YouTube, your Facebook, your Pinterest, your Twitter, all your X, all of the stuff when you're posting the same thing everywhere? They're just going to pick one.
They're going to pick one.
So make the content, and you know what? It's a little more trouble. It is.
It is.
But it's worth it because you're serving your community in the place that they're at. So you may not post 3 things a day on Twitter. You may not post 2 Instagram things, but you're posting the right things that resonate, and you're actually it's a benefit to you in terms of time.
Yeah. Let me show this. And this is FeedHive, and one of the things I love about FeedHive more than just using it to schedule my posts out, because I do use it to schedule some posts. But just as Chris is saying, I don't spray and pray. I try to have different strategies on different platforms. I try to make it be different content. Even if I post something that I have posted on LinkedIn before on Instagram, I'm not posting it on the same day. And I may even tweak that caption because of the audience that's on the different platforms. I mean, what I say on Instagram, I may not say on LinkedIn. I might couch it in a business perspective because of who I know the platform is catering to. But I can do all of that in this platform. I can schedule it out ahead of time. I can look at it from days and weeks and months. Plus, especially on the teams that I'm a part of, I can see when others have posted, even if they don't use FeedHive to post. This is the genius of using a platform like this. I'm not actually just saying this about FeedHive. I know that there are other platforms out there, so don't get it twisted. I'm not saying go grab FeedHive tomorrow. I'm saying having a platform like this enables you to do certain things. But this, what I'm looking at right now, this is one of my favorite. The social inbox basically takes every comment on any post or video that I have, and it allows me to look at it. Okay, this is okay. She's talking about you see. I click on the comment, and on the side, the context. This is what she's responding to. She's responding to. Can an introvert use live video? I needed this today. I've been considering live streaming on LinkedIn. I'm still trying to figure out if I should use StreamYard or Riverside. That is the comment I want to respond to.
Yep.
And I just type my response right here, and I hit post, and I go to the next one. Hey bro, question. What's he talking about? Instagram opens up live. Hey bro, question. Why do you not use Instagram live button on StreamYard and EVMux instead of RTMP? This guy didn't quite understand the purpose of the video. That's a whole nother thing. But the point is, I can see this in one screen and one time. And I can do that across the different platforms that I've added to the system. And so that's an example of one of the time-saving things. When I have on my calendar, respond to comments when I have that on my calendar, sometimes I'll just go right into the YouTube app and I'll just do it there. Other times I'll come into the social inbox here and I'll do it here. But it's one of those things where it does help to save time, and I hope that that's meaningful to you. Thank you for that question, Charlotte.
Yeah, Agora Pulse does the same thing.
I figured.
Yeah.
I was told does ClickUp do something similar or no?
I'm not sure, but the other thing I would say to what you were doing is like, and Kirk, and you've probably gotten this a number of times, like, not all the comments are going to be nice. Okay? Not all the comments are going to be nice.
That
okay?
is so true. That is so true.
And you know what? It is easier for people to take shots, to be honest. Especially when we're doing, like for Dealcasters, we'll do some tech stuff, and people like to take shots, for whatever reason, and that's fine. But they're a little more shocked when you're actually going into your inbox, like Kirk just showed, and you're responding to them. And you're saying, hey, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate you watching and taking the time to comment. Yep. And then you'll get a response back from them like, oh my gosh, you're actually responding? Yep. You're actually, wow. And then they're backpedaling a little bit.
Yep. Because
I really did like the video. I really did,
Yep. So, listen,
and then you got a subscriber.
That happened to me literally yesterday. I responded to a comment on a video that was very old, and the person was like, your background music is way too loud. And I agree with them.
I get that. Yeah,
I agree with them for that particular video, I didn't master it properly. The background music is way too loud. I've known that for years because the video is an old video. And so they came through, skewered me for it. And I just responded back saying, thank you so much for the feedback. This is one of our older videos. I hope that you'll check out some of our later ones. I've actually redone this particular video. Here's the link. But I agree with you. The background music is way too loud on this, but it somehow is serving people. So I left it up. But I hope that you find value in some of the others. This dude responded back like, oh my gosh, I wish I could delete my comment. I had no idea you were going to respond. Thank you so much. I watched the new video. I actually did get benefit from it as well. I just thought the background music was way too loud, so just didn't want to come across that way. But people don't, when you respond as a real person, that's already, like, the guy told me in his response, I'm hitting subscribe today, because I had no idea that this was going to be an actual interaction. And
you're another person into your community. I think, people don't treat YouTube enough like that. I've been on too many soapboxes today, but I mean, listen, content creators, stop using these platforms as a way to trumpet yourself. Start using these as a way to create community. A lot of these things are called social media because they're social. They're meant to be social. You may not consider YouTube a social media platform, but you can be social on YouTube. And yes, Kirk just went through the key steps and the cheat code and how to do it. Respond to people, respond to everyone. I mean, there's going to be some things you're going to have to like not leave on your channel because there are just some really abhorrent comments that some people will leave, and there's no responding, and there's just no way to, to blow sunshine on some of these comments. It just happens. But for the most part, like, stop trumpeting yourself because you have to tell people what you do, how you can serve them, what you can do for them, and then get ready to respond and be social with it. That's the only way to make this work for yourself.
That's so good. I love some of the comments that are coming through right now. I love the real trolls. Thank you. Thanks for supporting my, that's the thing. Like, what I wanted to type to the guy, Walt, is you're commenting on a 4-year-old video complaining about the background music. I'm just excited that the 4-year-old video is still giving me views. It's still increasing my watch time. You're upset about the background music. I'm like, look at this. This is evergreen content. You see what I'm saying? So I totally agree with what Walt has to say.
I love that you left it up too, because some people are afraid and they're going to pull down their old videos. I'll leave everything up, man. You could go to all the channels, all the places, and see all that garbage audio that I used to have, and how I looked like I had a thumbprint on my lens. I looked like I was in the witness protection program. Like it's okay.
Yeah. So 24-hour boss says, this is why I love these lives with you all, Kirk, Jason, Walt, and all the same same peeps in the comments. You guys are so positive and helpful. More help than those creators with 1 million subs. Listen, I take that to heart, but I also know a couple of creators that have 1 million subs, and I feel for them. Because there is there's the scale of it, right? I mean, it's just the magnitude of, if Justin Brown, Primal Video, just interviewed him a couple weeks ago on the stream show with DJ Strick. If he goes live with 2-point-something million subscribers, you think he can get to all the, like, I'm starring your comments and responding to them. It's impossible, but it is what it is. But what I will say is I absolutely appreciate your comment, because it does. I take it to heart, and I truly appreciate that. 24-hour boss, thank you so much for coming through. Let me say this. I'm kicking this question to Chris, because Walt already knows what my response is going to be. But yeah, Kirk or Chris, what is the best LMS tool for learning management that incorporates email management as well? He says, I know you're going to say Kajabi, Kirk. He's saying that to me. But is there anything else? So, I mean, I don't know that. I think you've merged two. Now for Kirk, I like what Kajabi is doing with their email management. They've come a long way, and so I like that. But there are a lot of people who love ClickFunnels for their landing pages and for their mail management. I know a lot of people who use all kinds of different platforms. Constant Contact has completely leveled up in terms of what they offer. I have a client that uses them now, and I was like, whoa. Now, neither of those have a learning management, right? Of course, creator tool. You do have to realize that you may have to split the two if you don't like what Kajabi is doing for email management. You just have to know that their primary business is course. Let's keep that a stack. Their primary business is course. They've added these other things on because they want to have these wraparound services for the whole creator. But their primary business is courses. Whereas a number of these other platforms, they do email and they do them well, but they probably won't give you course. But I know that there's Thinkific. I know there's Kartra. I know there's, I'm drawing a blank on the other names. There's several platforms. What are some of the ones that you've heard, Chris?
Well, I would just say this. I am not a fan of Swiss Army knives when it comes to things like that are important. Like course creation is an important. If you are someone that teaches and has courses, I don't know of many that are better than Kajabi. I mean, there's Uscreen is another, one.
Oh,
So
yes.
if you like their interfaces and it serves, what you want, you can integrate your another email program into what they're doing. But like if your email list is like, maybe you got 100,000 email subscribers, right? Which is a lot, right? Are you going to give it to somebody that does not really do email as well, and it's just sort of a bolt-on service to their courses, or a bolt-on service to a podcast production service, or a bolt-on service to social media?
Mercy.
Like, I'm a fan of, like, when I want to create graphics, I have 3 or 4 different programs that I'm using. I'm kind of cobbling something together because not one of them does everything that I want it to do, or that I need to execute for the clients that I serve. And I'm not sure that really answers your question, because to me, I don't have one service that I use for multiple things. I want to choose what I feel like is the best service that can be utilized for this particular platform: courses, email, video production, all of that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of value in what is being shared, and I think, and this is where, for me, and I think I talked about this when I was on with you last week, Walt. Course creation was at the top. Selling digital products was at the top of the list for me. I wanted something that could manage the mailing list, and it could do certain features and functions. I had a checklist. And so, does Kajabi check those boxes? Yes, it does. Would I want more from a mail management system? Yeah. And I go to the groups, I go to the forums, I go to their town halls, and I make my voice heard. And we are seeing improvement in the mail management system in Kajabi. It's still not what others are giving, whose primary business is email, but we are seeing improvement. And I think that's the piece. I hate to give you the all-encompassing "it depends" answer, but
right, that's usually the right answer.
Yeah,
I mean, the other thing I would say, Kirk, is like Descript, however you want to, did a acquisition of Squadcast, right? So, right. And I'm a huge fan of Descript. I take every video that I have and I use that. That's what I use to initially chop up and transcribe everything that I do. Well, they integrated with Squadcast, which is a video platform, and can do a show like you can on, I will say like you can on StreamYard, like you can on Ecamm. But here's the thing: even though Squadcast comes for free in Descript, I don't use Squadcast.
There it is.
I just don't. It just doesn't do what I need it to do, like Ecamm does, like StreamYard does, like some of these other platforms do. And so until it gets ready, until it's ready for me to use and to feel confident that I can use it on behalf of my clients, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use something else that's better.
Me either. And that's so good. Walt responds, he says, so of course I'm getting my Kajabi life together, but for the webinar, I did my own landing page in WordPress and then using ConvertKit for the CRM portion. Bro, ConvertKit is dope.
Yeah, it is.
I think you're on a right. Here's the most important thing about what you just said right there. Anybody caught it? He did something.
Yes.
He's doing it. Oh, yes. Okay, you think I'm upset that he didn't get Kajabi? Not at all. Down the road a ways. But I've seen your course. the webinar. I've seen the advert for it on socials, and I was like, come on, Walt, let's go. And if you can message me the link, I want to see if I can get that to my moderator so they can drop that link in the chat as well. But I want to say congrats to you, Walt, for making that step, because that's what it's about. It's about actually putting one foot in front of the other.
Walt, does one of your courses, is it on 32-bit float?
Is it on 32-bit float? Oh my goodness.
Use what you bought.
Oh
man, that was awesome.
That thing was so good.
Yeah,
that was so good.
I love you played it like 3 times. I was like, play it again. Oh, he is playing it again. All right.
Oh my gosh. I wanted to throw this up as well. I don't know if you're still with us, Nordia. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I wanted to give some love to Facebook real quick. How do you balance authenticity purpose with meeting your people's needs as you create content. Oh.
Well, we got another hour, right?
What? I hope we do. No idea. That's a loaded question. I don't, but I will say, because I like to read the question and hear it a couple of times. I will say that I don't see an imbalance between being authentic and staying in my purpose and balancing that with the needs of my community that I'm creating for. My purpose is my true north, and it helps me to find the people who I can best serve authentically. And so because that is my guiding principle, it generally is not out of balance with, people's needs. The needs of the people that I'm serving, it comes out of me being on purpose, in purpose, and being authentically me. And so I think if you are trying to balance the two, there may be something missing from your purpose. And I know that's heavy. And that's why Chris said, do we have another 2 hours? Because it is a lot. This is a coaching question. There's no doubt about it. And I love that question. I love to answer that question. I love to dive deep because it is one that we would have to do some self-discovery on. And it is not one that would be the same answer for you, for Chris, for me, for James Hicks or Frederick Douglass Bussey or anybody else that's in the chat. It would be very, very, very personal. I thank you for that question because I think not enough people ask themselves, am I balancing that as well?
Yeah, it's tough to.
Any comments on that, Chris?
The word balance kind of throws me a little bit, to be honest, because I talked about this earlier, Kirk. It's like if you understand who you're talking to, you know what their problems are.
There it is.
You know what they have trouble with doing, and so if you're delivering what those solutions are, what the medicine is, Diana Gladney talks about, if you are delivering that,
the medicine, I love
as yourself, there is no balance. There's none. And I've told you this before, Kirk, and is that when I first met you and the other times that I've been with you, ladies and gentlemen, that is the person you see and hear on these shows is the person. And that's what you want to be. And I've gone to conferences, I've met other content creators, other people that I've, worked with and been associated with, and they're different people. They're just different people. When the camera goes on, there's it's not just an energy situation. They're just different people.
Oh, wow. So good. I didn't think of it from that. I'm so glad you shared that perspective. That's so it's inauthentic, and so, there's some people that don't like me. It's okay. They don't like my voice, or they don't like my hair, or they don't like what I'm saying. That's cool. I've been in bands for years. I've had stuff thrown at me on stage. It doesn't matter to me, but I am for someone. And that's who I'm delivering to. So I love, so man, the comment section is just going nuts. Yo, I love this. Florence is on it. Yes, she is. Florence is on it.
Uh-oh.
I love this. No, like that is, yo, it does not get any better than a moderator who is on their stuff. I got to give props where they're due. Come on, Florence, you are awesome. Thank you. That's the link right there. And, that's the link right there. walterjeanette.com/webinar. Love it. Definitely go check him out. He says, yo, about to drop those t-shirts. I love it. Oh, yeah. Go for it. Yes, I love it. All right, there's a lot of things in the comments, but Walter was responding to the question that we just talked to here, and he was saying that's it. He said it's an entire playlist worth of content right there. But he also went on to say he slightly disagreed with us, and I love disagreement. He says I don't think it's a question of balance, but I think she's asking how can I make the content I really want to make, but it may not be the content my audience really wants, and that's even a different perspective.
I think it's okay to do that. You know, I think it's okay to make content that you want, but if you know it's for someone else, then that's another show, that's another channel, that's another thing. Like, listen, I've got tons of passion projects, you know, like you know, it's not, I don't have to just talk about podcast production all day long, you know. You know, there's all, and there's nothing wrong with starting a show or starting a channel or starting a podcast because you love it and you're having fun. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not, you know, but if you're wanting to further your business and you have that person that you're delivering to, you know, you could do it without, you know, without being inauthentic, I think. You can still be yourself in that process. But yeah, I love that.
I love that. And I just, XDMC just put a comment in that just kind of,
what's this?
Oh my gosh. It's
Florence needs a raise.
No. XDMC says, Kirk, he said, my wife even knows who Kirk is. She said, why are you ordering so much stuff on Amazon? I said, Kirk said this product was good. Oh, tell the wife I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. No, but this is what I knew this session was going to be. Actually, I mean, if you can believe it, we are actually, we only have one more question and we're done. We only have one more. Right. We're just a little bit over time. Coach, listen, Florence does deserve a raise. She does. Coach Kirk teaches us to stack, and I see that as delivering the message you want to deliver and reaching your audience. I'm 5,000%. I'm 5,000%. Okay, here it is. Walter Jeanette says, yes, that's the Nikki convo. Are you creating for yourself or for your audience? Do you still love the game or do you just love what the game provides?
With that Zion Williamson. Okay.
That is a good question. And the truth is only you can answer that. That's a wildly personal question. I do want to throw this one to Chris before I let him go. I've asked him to stay for an hour. He's been gracious. He's given us an extra 15 minutes. I'm gonna let him go here in just a second. But my guy Jason, Charlotte Agent, says, so what is the best practice for saving time and repurposing each long form content? You're right about post blasting, LOL. So he talked about, he's responding to you because we responded to his question earlier, and you said the spray and pray is not the way. That all rhymed. I might have some bars. The spray and pray is not the way.
The way.
If I stay on with Chris any longer, we're gonna have like 20 t-shirts. Anyway, but he's responding now saying, what's the best way to saving time for repurposing? Go ahead. This is your game, Doc. I know this is you all day. Saving all parts of the pig. so talk to, that's right. Talk to, that was on our show.
Honor the whole animal, I think.
Honor the whole animal. The whole animal.
Maybe politically correct way of doing it. Yeah. Charlotte Agent. This is my wheelhouse, but it took a lot of time and effort to go through all. So I'm gonna do my best to give you some a cheat code here. I have a process to where I take what I do and what my clients do, and I always pop it into Descript. And if you're not familiar with Descript, it's basically takes whatever video or audio that you've got, and it does a transcription so you can read the words, and you can but you also can see the video, you can resize the video, you can put captions on it, you can do all kinds of stuff crazy stuff too. You can put a green screen and put stock video and GIFs and all kinds of stuff and make really creative social stuff. That's kind of like, that's if you're first starting out with it, it'll take you a while to get there. But for me, it was easier for me to start chopping up really juicy parts of conversations and interviews, like question from host that goes into answer from guest, and to keep it in that 1 minute thing. You're not going to be able to tell a story in a minute. You just can't, right? And that's really not what that content is for. You want to get it out there to draw them to the longer form content.
That's it.
And so I pull it into Descript. I'm able to read it and I'm able to search for words. So like I'll keep a little pad next to me, and I've got one right here. And if Kirk said something, like he just said parts of the pig, right? I'll write down pig. and I'll just write down a word, and that takes a second, right?
Search.
So I've got these pieces of paper with just words on them, and I'll just go to my Descript and I'll type in the word, and it jumps right to it, and I know exactly where that clip is, and I could just pop that out, and then pop that out, and pop that out. And I usually get 15 to 20 pieces of content from 1 hour long interview, and so that for me is the best process. There's these other programs that, like Opus Pro or Opus Clip is the one that a lot of people are using. And here's why I don't use it. And I'm gonna be clear. I use all of this stuff just to kind of test it out. The reason why is because what I notice is that people that use that, they all look the same. Yeah. And I'm not. I don't like to make Xerox copies. I want to be an original.
Come on.
So if you're just using the Alex Hormozi caption font and you're just doing it. Now, I will say there's one creator, and he was here earlier. He may not be here now. Dr. James Hicks uses Opus Clip. And for whatever reason, his is just different. And I mean that in the best possible way, because that dude is science. And so
and he's also plugged in with the creators of Opus as well.
Yeah. So I would say this to hopefully answer your question. Whatever you want to use, whether it's Opus Clip or Descript, become an original. Carve your path. Don't do what Alex Hormozi's doing. He's taken. Don't do what Kirk Nugent's doing. Use him as an influence. Don't do what I'm doing. Use these people as influences. Here's my musical thing, and I'm going to leave you with this. I play bass mostly. I play a lot of different instruments. And I love Sting, and I love Flea, and I love Louis Johnson, and I love Larry Graham, and I love all of these great bass players, okay? But I can't play, if you ask me, hey, play Graham Central Station or whatever, or play Tower of Power, or play, Red Hot Chili Peppers or whatever, I might know a lick here and a lick there, but my style is my own, and I use them as my influence to become who I was as a player. Now, I haven't made it as a player, or whatever, but I would equate that to use a content creator. Use people like Kirk Nugent, James Hicks, 24 Hour Boss, all of these people, they have different things. Like, don't steal from them. Use what they're doing. How did they do that? How did she do that? Like, what? I want to do that. I don't ask Kurt, send me some of your Canva template because I want to use that exactly. No, I don't do that. I go, that was really cool. I wonder how he did that. Let me see if I can use that in some way, shape, or form to equate it to what I do and what I am doing to serve my audience, my community. I'm sorry, I'm jumping. I jumped on too many boxes today.
No, you that is a perfect way to land. 24 Hour Boss, Walter Jeanette, Enea, Florence. Everybody's like, dude, that is fire. Look. The comments right there on the screen. You can see it's fire.
Appreciate you, 24 Hour Boss. Yeah, man.
I want to say, come on. HIW, How It All Works fam. Can we clap it up for Chris Stone coming through with heat today? I mean, just crazy, ridiculous value all over. Just, oh my gosh, this entire session was stupid. Walter says, where's his comment here? Walter says, I'm inspired to do even more and go further. This is the comment. He says, amazing coaching corner today, man. Fellas. And this is coming from the guy
I've tried to compare to him, man. I came off that last week. I was like, man, I better deliver after that one.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. This is coming from the person who was on here last week and blew it up. And so for those that didn't get a chance to check that one out, you make sure you go to howitallworks.com and check that out. But man, Ian Callender says, love it. 24 Hour Boss is coming through with the clapping it up. Equip Institute and Enea was got the hand clap and the fire. Listen, we appreciate you coming through and hanging out with us today, Chris. Man, thank you, bro. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Anytime, man. I've said this. I love hanging out with you. I've learned a lot. I hope I was able to serve.
Yes, you absolutely were.
If anybody wants to, reconnect with me from this community, just go to chrisstone.contact and we'll connect.
ChrisStone.contact. I know. Yeah. And so Equip Institute is doing both things. She's put the how it all works in the com/watch right there for everybody to see. So you can hit that link and it'll take you right over to my page, and you will be able to see today's episode or whatever episode that you want to watch, because I mean, everything is there on that page. But also, in addition to that, you can also check out ChrisStone.connect. Is it
ChrisStone.contact?
Contact. I thought it was contact. So ChrisStone.contact. ChrisStone.contact. And I'm putting that, just gonna bring that page up for everybody to be able to see that. Did I type that right? I think I did. But yeah, I'm putting that up for everybody to be able to see that as well, so you can kind of catch that, check that out. Love for you to be able to catch his some of the stuff that he's doing. It's phenomenal. Somebody that I love working with, somebody that is definitely part of my crew, but also, man, just we want to make sure that there is no shortage of resources for you to be able to get across the line, whatever it might be. Yeah. Let's go. I'm just looking at all the different things. Look, she's already on it. She's already got the link in the chat. That's just how quick she is. It's just absolutely amazing. The delay, she's never defeated by the delay. She always comes through in the clutch. So we're excited for that. But listen, fam, I want to say a word of thanks to all of you. We're gonna lay it down right now. I already told you what I'm gonna go do. It is 1:23. I've got 15 minutes to head over to the school to drop off a rose for a special 13-year-old. Want to make sure to surprise her in front of her entire class. This is just this is a daddy thing. I can't do this forever, right? She's 13. She's not gonna want me to do this, but I can still do it now. So I'm gonna go get ready to do that right now, and I'll catch you guys, man. Listen, if you've never heard me say this before, one of the reasons why I love what I do. Is because I get to be part of the vehicle that helps people get their message out there to the world. Whatever that message might be. Maybe you want to serve at scale. Maybe you want to grow and engage an audience. Maybe you're trying to funnel clients to your business. Maybe you're trying to meet that particular person in your industry. I don't know what it is, but I get to help people. I get to be part of that thing. It's why I love what I do. This is what I know I'm called to do. This is the space that has been created for specifically just this. And if that's something you're interested in, Coach's Corner with Kirk, every Wednesday at noon Central Time. It's the Lord's time. Just want to throw that out there. But Central Time is a time where we get a chance to ask those questions. There are some weeks where we have a guest on, and if you're interested in doing free coaching, there's a QR code literally above my head right now. There's a free coaching session waiting for you. If you scan that QR code, drop us an email. My team will send you back some information on how you can get in the hot seat to be able to ask your questions live and get that feedback that will help you to be unstuck and move you on to the next thing. I shared with you that we had Rose on a couple of weeks ago, and I also told you what Rose is doing right now. That group is 90 strong and growing. And she's getting ready to use that as the testing ground for the course that she will eventually launch that will already have social proof baked in. All of this strategy we did live right here on the Coaching Corner. So these are some of the things I just want to share with you. I had to get really focused in on what it was I wanted to provide. That's the reason why some of the other shows had to take a back seat, because I knew what I wanted to do was to be a coach. I have benefited greatly, significantly in my life from coaches in every different aspect. And I wanted to be able to provide that same service to those who want to do that with content. Can't tell you how many of you have come through and scheduled discovery calls, grabbed the introductory coaching session for $99. There's so many people that have been hitting us up. This is what happens when you get laser focused. The Why I Go Live podcast is laser focused on helping people recognize the value, the ridiculous, crazy value of live streaming. Then the Coaching Corner, I want to make people aware. This is what it looks like. When Chris and I are able to tag team, when he comes into my community on a Zoom call and just able to provide value directly for folks as they answer questions, you're just getting a small taste of that today. That's what this show is meant to do, is give you a taste test. This is like a test drive of what it's like to have a immovable sounding board as a coach. And I hope that you see the value of it. excited for you to be able to be part of this community. Even if you never book a consult session, even if you never buy anything from us, your comments mean the world to me. You sharing the content means the world to me, because somebody in your sphere may need what we have to offer. And that's what it's all about. Fam, let me shut up. It's your boy, Kirk Nugent, the Geek Speaker Preacher. Thankful for your time and attention today. We will see you around these internet streets or in the next video. Later. Oh yes. If my replay squad, if you're catching us right now, man, thank you so much for watching all the way through the video. You're gonna want to check out one of these videos right here. Playlist, subscribe, join membership, all the things. Later.